Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I seem to be trapped in hell.
And I'm Gary. And today we're going to review and discuss the 7th Hellraiser movie, Hellraiser Deader. Which is exactly how anyone who is marathoning through these movies will begin to feel at this point in time. Directed once again by Bota, who directed the previous installment and will also direct the next installment in the Hellraiser franchise. Iain, why don't you give us the synopsis for Hellraiser Deader?
Deader. Fucking good title. Okay, the story for Deader follows Amy Klein, played by Kari, who is a journalist working for the London Underground newspaper. She is one of those journalists who will put herself right into her story by being an actual, for example, crack addict. She finds out about this underground cult led by Winter, who, through watching a VHS tape, she finds out Winter can suck the death out of people. So she goes to investigate it to find out if there's a story there, but uncovers the Lament configuration box and possibly a doorway to Pinhead.
So, here we have it once again with Dimension and Miramax going, well, shit, they keep buying our Hellraiser DVDs. Let's make another one. And while we're at it, let's make 2 at exactly the same frickin' time.
Yeah.
So, but we can't just do that. We need a script. Well, let's just go into that vault, shall we? And let's start throwing darts. Whatever it lands on, we'll take it. This one, it's called Deader. Let's write Hellraiser in front of it, and there we go. Let's cram in some Cenobites. Let's try and cram in some loose connections to a previous movie and sell it. We'll put Pinhead on the cover again, yes. So,
Yeah.
Bradley, you'll take a paycheck for a couple of days' work? Brilliant. We got ourselves another Hellraiser movie. And this one stars Kari, who is kind of a guilty pleasure of mine.
Right.
I kind of enjoyed her performance in Sliders. She played Tanya in the Command and Conquer films, and
Okay.
she was also okay in a B-movie, Eight-Legged Freaks.
Yeah, that's pretty
So,
good film, actually.
you know, only if, you know, so you might recognise her, you might not. Other than that, there's fairly unrecognisable faces in this film other than Doug Bradley.
Yeah, we're talking TV actors again, and just like the previous 2 films, this film for me was a real fucking chore to get through. Luckily, spoilers, it's not Jacob's Ladder. Thank the fucking Lord. We're actually following a live person now, you know? Amy is quite the innocent, I suppose. She's just, as one of the characters says halfway through the film, she's got this destructive lifestyle.
How about you show me what you learned?
You want me to show you what I learned?
Right here, right now. Maybe later.
Maybe not.
You know, she's living life on the edge, and that will be told to us as the film goes on in flashbacks about her childhood. Shame it's the same flashback over and over again, but told from different angles. You start to get the picture that something terrifying or bad happened to her as a child, and this is why she lives the life as she does. And at the same time, though, it's just the way it comes across. For me, there's always a tinge on a camera. You know, when you see a film which is a big budget cinema release summer blockbuster, it just fucking screams big screen to you. Other things, they look better on a small portable TV. You know, watching it on your phone, like, hey, I've got a film. And this is what this is like. It's all kind of just like the other 2 movies, independently filmed.
It just looks really, really cheap. Just there's no inventive camera work. The lighting is poor. The acting is wooden, and it just will put you very quickly into a coma.
Yeah.
because the story that we're following is nonsensical, and it's bland, and it just...
Well, I wouldn't say it's bland, because don't get me wrong, there's nothing in this story that actually catches you and goes, "Ooh, that's really interesting." It's the fact that it doesn't actually coherently follow to a point that you can follow it, that you after a while you're kind of like, what's going on? It's if it was bland, I'd be like, this is so dead, this is so bland. It's the fact of Amy goes to her editor, and he's like, "I've got a videotape to show you," and you sit there for like what seems to be a really long fucking opening exposition on the story, watching this video where this girl blows her brains out on a bed, surrounded by all of her friends or cult members, and Winter, the leader of the Deaders, comes along and sucks the death out of her, or breathes air into her. You couldn't really tell, like I said, the way it's filmed. But then she comes to life.
Miracles.
It's a miracle!
Right, but she's a zombie?
I guess. No, she's a deader.
Yeah, so she's a deader. So she doesn't want to eat human brains. She just wants to hang out in the dark, because the deaders, they die, and Winter brings them back to life, but they still retain the damage did to them by whatever hurt them.
But they're also, I'm guessing, under his control. Like a zombie overlord. They are his zombies, and they have to do what he tells them to do.
Yeah.
Because he is power hungry. That's what he is after. Winter is after the power of the lament configuration and the power of this hell dimension, and he wants to rule them all.
Yeah, but they're still bleeding.
Yeah.
There's still blood
because
coming
they're
out.
they're still wearing their cadavers, I guess.
Right, okay. But then we see some of them start to rot, and I'm like, right, okay, there's just, you're just chucking in these deaders, you're just mixing up. Okay, we're gonna establish that they're dead, but we follow Amy going to investigate them, and she comes across one of the members, who she says at first it's her sister, then it's her friend. Obviously, she's just trying to get into this room, and she comes across this cult member who's hung herself. But she's a deader. So she's tried to hang herself after she's been turned into a deader. And
unsuccessfully, obviously.
Or is that how she died? That's how she was deadered by Winter, so he could suck her soul death off of her.
But very quickly you notice that there was some bizarre shape in her hand.
Yeah.
And you soon realise that, she was playing with the lament configuration. Unsuccessfully, it has to be pointed out, but she does seem dead.
See, I thought that when we first saw it, but I don't think so. And this is where two scripts being thrown together doesn't work. This zombie hung girl has the box, and Amy steals it and runs back to her apartment. Opens it, obviously. That's what she's going to do. And chains come out, and we're like, woohoo, chains, Hellraiser, yeah. And Pinhead's there like, you're going to suffer, this is all real. And she's like, ah. And then she wakes up.
Oh, for fuck's sake, movie! When people open the box, they are eviscerated. They are pulled limb from limb and sent to the hell dimension.
Not in these films, gang. Not in these films. Anyway, she has the box, but that zombie girl had the box, and Amy ends up taking it back to Winter, who is a long descendant of the toy maker. But not the good ones that obviously want to destroy Hell. He's one of the bad ones who wants to destroy Hell by creating an army of deaders and taking them there. And he takes the box back from Amy like, this is mine, thank you. But as it gets revealed, he wants her to have the box. Because he wants her to solve it to open the door so that he can get into Hell. So he gave it to Zombie Girl, and she pretended to hang herself so that she could give the box to Amy.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I completely phased out of the film. I went into a brain coma because I just stopped caring. I could see how very loosely it was attached to the Hellraiser franchise, but I didn't care for the main character. I didn't care for the Deaders, and so when these connections, you'd have to loosely make them up.
Loosely. That's what I'm doing, because I tried to care for Amy because as the film progressed, she was quite innocent.
She was, I wouldn't say she was innocent. She's very hard-edged. And, most reporters are,
She's innocent for the Hellraiser storyline, unless, like we said, unless she solves the box.
Which she did
do.
But Pinhead's just like,
no,
I'm going to hit you with all these chains and let you go.
Don't think for a moment you are not in danger.
Loosely, I put that down to him wanting her to defeat Winter.
Exactly. It does turn out that Pinhead is going to use her to achieve his own goals. But at the same time, he does also say that you did open the box, so I will come and get you later.
You have been recruited as a soldier in another man's war. A war that he can never win. You opened the box, and your soul belongs to me.
Yeah, I will. They tell you in this film that there's only a minute few of people around the world who are chosen ones who can open the box. And I'm like, right,
that's bullshit, because the box just ends up opening itself whenever it feels like anyway.
The box just does whatever the fuck it wants. But I'm like, but Winter's the descendant of the toy maker. He should easily know how to open the box. These people he's got with him, they all look completely retarded. They blow their brains out so that they can become hollow. Right.
Ask yourself this. When you stand there, your flesh exposed, paddling in a pool of your own blood, why is it that you feel no pain?
Because I'm dreaming.
To break it down, to look at the plot, it does appear that Winter has found a way to open a gateway to the Hell Dimension without summoning Cenobites.
Yeah.
Now, this is something I'm going to just go off on a tangent with, is the fact that how many Cenobites are in that Hell Dimension that we've seen in Hellraiser 2? Because that landscape just kept going.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine that there is a shit ton of Cenobites performing a shit ton of torture across this labyrinth of this dimension.
You hope.
I would imagine, because if looking at the size of it, I can't imagine that there's just Pinhead and 1 or 2 Cenobites and that's it.
Dude, we're what, 6th, 7th movie now?
Yeah.
It is only ever Pinhead.
Yeah, I know, but that's why I'm saying is, why do they need to keep having Pinhead be the one Cenobite that comes from this entire dimension, be the one to turn up?
It's exactly the same thing I mean about the box as well. They use just the same loose connections to the other film. Change the design a bit. Give somebody else a chance.
If that's the one box that opens the gateway to infinite possibilities, that needs to be the same.
No. But they keep saying there are many like it. So this one box, this chosen box.
Though there are others who may disagree.
After 7 movies, I'm getting so sick and tired of looking at the same fucking box. Because it's the same design as well when it comes to solving it. It's like, move it around. That looks like a button, so it's a button. Right, that's a dial, so I'm going to use the dial. Chainsaw!
Yeah, the same need to change that. That's not broken. Don't fix it. That works. It still works. It's iconic.
Yeah.
If you change the box... why
you got to change something. You got to change something.
Well, they have. They've changed everything but the box.
Yeah, they've changed everything.
The only thing that works is the box.
They haven't changed the box. They haven't changed Pinhead. And like you said, it's just shoehorning in. Right, we've got this film. Right, we need a Hellraiser. So let's slap the box into it. Let's slap Pinhead in there. He's got his couple of Cenobites. I mean, they keep changing the Cenobites. What happened to the last Cenobites you had?
I don't know, they look somewhat familiar to the last one.
But is that the thing though? Like you said, there must be Cenobites all over the place. So every time he's drawn to Earth, he just picks, "Hey, you two, we're going on an away mission."
Exactly, we're going to go and recruit some fresh souls.
Oh, I'll leave my dog at home.
I know Pinhead is a figurehead in that dimension, but I imagine there would also be others, and so I would like some variety. Maybe another voice person from Hell.
I am your redeemer. I am the way.
Anyway, so Winter has managed to breach that dimension, and he is, the way I interpret it, is that when he's killing these people, their souls are being sent to that dimension, and he's pulling them back out of that dimension, putting them back in their bodies so that they'll live forever. Because whenever you're taken to this hell dimension, you, for whatever reason, you essentially exist forever in that dimension to be tortured eternally. So, but the people that do escape from it, like Frank and Julia, they can keep regenerating and keep feeding themselves in order to keep their skin or keep skin and keep alive. Probably indefinitely, a la deaders, like the ones that have escaped Pinhead. And so Winter is able to, because he's a descendant of the merchant family, with his connections to that dimension, has somehow managed to fuse the two and doesn't need the lament configuration, which is what's pissed off Pinhead, who is now employing Amy to go into this cult, not become a deader. Because if she becomes a deader, deaders can't feel the suffering or the pain of the flesh, which neuters Pinhead entirely. So Winter needs to make an army of deaders so that should Pinhead and the Cenobites turn up, he'll have an army to be able to defeat them and eventually overpower them and control Hell himself. When Pinhead does turn up to confront him, Winter's just like, "I control you, you have no power over me."
Can't hurt me.
You're not the first to say that. And you won't be the last.
Totally. That was such a long justification. The film does not tell you any of that. That what he just said completely explains what the film should have been trying to accomplish. You follow Amy around and she's either talking to herself or she's talking to zombie people from the cult. You know, she gets on a train and the whole last carriage of the train is controlled by Mark Warren, a British actor, and his Hellraiser club. You know, it's basically a gothic club at the back of this train where people get tattoos and drink and fuck and whatever. You know, and it's just so horribly put together that you just don't want to be there, and yet you have to be, because you've got to learn about all the story. And I'm not gonna tell you where you have to go. Oh yeah, I will, because technically I have to, because I'm actually employed by Winter to do it. You know, and then oh god, she's wandering around the fucking tunnels. Is it a dream? Is it a fantasy? Born in a landslide? You know, no escape from reality. What the?
Let me go!
No, we will not let you go. Let him go. Bismillah. We will not let you go. Let him go. Bismillah. We will not let you go. Let me go. We'll not let you go. Let me go. We'll not let you go. Let me go.
But then, yeah, like Gary said, Pinhead turns up at the end for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah,
minutes,
essentially, yeah.
You know, and he gets the cool chains onto Winter, you know, reminiscent of Hellraiser 1 again. Tears him apart. He fucking explodes.
Just might come true.
That was okay.
I just like seeing the body parts still hooked on the chains.
Hooked on the chain. But then you spoiled it. You fucking spoiled it with all the cult members just lined up. And he shot 2 big chains, 2 big CGI chains through the walls, through them. And they're all stood there with CGI holes in their bodies.
For fuck's sake.
My favourite scenes are very few and far between. I like the sequence where she was hiding her blood because
That was just...
I totally forgot to talk about this actually. You know, Amy is killed at one point. She's made into a deader, or we're made to think she's a deader. She might not be a deader. It might be a dream or a fantasy, and it's all over the place. But she gets stabbed in the back, and she now has to obviously hide this wound so that she can find Winter and get her soul back or whatever the fuck she's doing. But she goes to the local subway and she sees a police officer walking up the escalator towards her in a really slow motion. She looks down at her feet, realizes she's stood in a pool of her own blood, sees that she's made a massive trail of blood all the way through the train station up to her, and it's so tense. She might be found out to have a massive stab wound in her chest, but she's still standing. So she's a zombie. No. Anyway, to hide it, she pulls a massive shelf unit of newspapers onto the floor. And I just laughed my ass off because it was like the director had looked at the angle that the camera would move past and realised that there was more blood all over the place. So they just had to pile more newspapers into little positions to hide the blood. It was so stupid. Just so stupid.
This film is horrible. It's just insulting to Hellraiser fans. If I had to have a single favourite scene, it would just have to be Doug Bradley cashing in. I mean, I gotta say it now.
Oh, it's
You're
starting to
cashing
wane.
in, Doug.
That's starting to wane now.
It won't be so easy this time. Yes, your father is with me, and he is waiting for you.
Yeah, it was like I've loved your shtick in the other films, and I've loved your delivery, but you don't have that audio behind you anymore. You don't have them fixing your voice to make you sound like an otherworldly demigod. You don't have the orchestra behind you anymore. You don't have the decent Cenobites with you anymore.
You look like a guy in a suit.
You look like a guy. You look like an aging man in a suit, and it's just sad because you were great. You were so great in the other films.
Yeah.
And so that's why Kari Wuhrer, okay, she's in a terrible film here, and she does the best she can with it. So I'm gonna have to say that she delivers a better performance in this than anybody else in the film. And the sequence where she is spazzing out with a knife in her back, she sells it, believe it or not. I kind of, for whatever reason, I got reminded of like the Evil Dead, just torturing your main character. It's farcical and it's comical, and at the same time, she still sells it with a really straight face. I believe that she's screaming in agony, despite the fact that I'm pretty sure deaders weren't supposed to feel pain anyway.
Yeah.
So
You're bringing up more questions.
as I've already said, this film just takes the rules of what's existed in the Hellraiser franchise and just breaks it. It's not Hellraiser. It's not Hellraiser enough. So they try and shoehorn in the bloodline story, the merchant family tree and descendants of it, but they don't do anything with it. It's just thrown away. It's just have an idea and explore it instead of having an idea and throwing it at a different script. You just lost it. And so there's nothing really redeemable in this film at all. Nothing. Yeah, at this point, stop.
No, don't listen to him. Recommendation. Come on. We've already gone through all the other Hellraiser movies, just like the fucking Halloween series. The studio comes along and just fucks it all up. But we're in for the long haul now. You've got to see this one to see how badly it gets. That the Pinhead is turned into that last 30-second character popping up and going, haha, it was me the whole time, haha. You know, the Deader sequences are just, like Gary said, they're so comical to get through. You know, you'll be bashing your head against the DVD cover thinking, why did I buy this? Why did I buy this? And there's a reason you bought it. Because you're a fucking fan of it, and you just gotta suffer. Suffer!
Well, that's alright, because Pinhead's going online.
This is just the beginning.
Thanks for watching Off the Shelf Reviews.